an intact, mature ecosystem is more biodiverse than a pioneer ecosystem. Pioneer ecosystems have less diversity in them, and they're setting the stage for the succession of more diverse assemblages. And these diverse, mature ecosystems do far more to disperse energy that comes onto the earth than a immature ecosystem. And human impacts on the Earth's surface, changing the face of the Earth, have dramatically limited how much mature, diverse ecosystems we have, and we've created vast areas where we see lots of pioneer species, lots of what we call weeds, because we've degraded and opened up so much of the surface sunlight where it had been covered with deep, dense forest. So we need to remember that and go back to this idea of 500 years back, and remembering what's going on with Southeast Asia, with Africa, with these parts of the world that today we wonder, why are people having such a tough time living there? Because 500 years of colonialism and exploitation and deforestation has caused a disintegration of their culture and their land. And that's the same thing that happened in this country. We in effect have killed our own ability to have a place-based culture by our destructive, voracious cultural habit of consuming all of the wealth of this country, to where now we can't even imagine how many fish were running in the rivers, how many oysters there were in the Hudson and the East River, how much life and abundance there was just wild and on the hoof that we could have been enjoying the fruits of. That because our ancestors came here and said, well, let's just cut all of this down because it's kind of scary, it doesn't look much like Europe. And that's part of what we also want to remember, that what happens when cultures come into landscapes that are more pristine, who lived in landscapes that have been high impacted by human activity for thousands of years, which was the interface between Europe and the Americas. So the Europeans had been getting to the point where, as I mentioned, they didn't have enough wood left to build ships, so they needed to come over to the Americas to get lumber to be able to build all these massive wood-consuming ship vessels to cross the oceans with. And wanted to make this country look more like what home felt like, because it felt scary and dark and overgrown and something that wasn't inviting. So cutting down all those trees was something that was cultural as well, because it made the place feel more open and less like there'd be demons and dark spirits and other things that are associated with the deep woods